In the days after MH370 went missing, it was probably hard to believe that a decade later we still wouldn't know what went wrong on that plane. The Boeing 777 last made radio contact with Malaysian air traffic controllers and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But it never checked in with Vietnamese traffic controllers when it was supposed to enter Vietnam's airspace. And it subsequently was discovered that the plane made a sharp westward turn before flying around the tip of Indonesia's Sumatra and then flying directly south over the Indian Ocean. Some small pieces of debris later washed up on an Indian Ocean island, but no wreckage or bodies have ever been found. A deep sea search was abandoned in 2018, but family members of the victims gathering in Kuala Lumpur this week said they want a new search.
I haven't moved on. I'm still trying to push for the Search On campaign. I'm still trying to push for the search of MH370 to continue. I'm still trying to push for the plane to be found.
Well, of course it can be found. It's a matter of time. You know, there have been ships lost that are found after hundreds of years. So we cannot say that this plane will never be found.
Hopes to find the wreckage, or at least parts of it, aren't completely dashed. The US-based company Ocean Infinity says its technology has improved over the years. Malaysia's government says it wants to see compelling evidence about the chances of success before committing to restarting the search.
The Chief Commissioner of the Australian Transport Safety Board, Angus Mitchell, joins us now from Brisbane. Angus, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. In the 10 years, what is the best theory, the best explanation you've heard as to what happened to this plane?
Well, look, and it does come with profound sadness at 10 years on that it still hasn't been solved. And that's something I know does weigh very heavily on those that were involved, the hundreds of people that were involved at the time. And that search that went for 2.5 years concluded in 2017. The evidence that was available at the time is still very much the evidence that we have now. And that evidence was used to determine the most likely scenario of where the plane went down. Now, it was unfortunate, and it certainly wasn't through a lack of a lot of professional effort looking for the plane, but the challenges are enormous. A plane the size of a 777 in the Indian Ocean, where all of that evidence isn't conclusive. We know where it took off from. We know various points along the way through some of the Inmarsat handshakes that are often talked around, and the performance of the plane. But I know that doesn't come as any solitude to those families, the 239. And I certainly hope that one day, based on the evidence that was assessed at the time and anything new that may come up, that the mystery is finally solved. But today is really about thinking about those families and all those who lost their lives tragically 10 years ago.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We're showing our viewers some pictures of some of the debris that has been washed up over the years, seemingly from the plane. Has that led to any clues pointed in any direction as the investigations have continued?
Well, there's around 36 pieces of debris that have washed up in Reunion Island and places along the along the east coast of Africa. Now, a lot of that was assessed at the time of the search, and that did feed into narrowing down some of those search areas and the likely drift patterns. So most of that has already been assessed. I know there is some new work being done around the barnacles, potentially around the growth of barnacles on some of those pieces of debris to try and pinpoint that further. But at this stage, the theories are simply that, around exactly what happened in the cockpit on that night. What we do know is what we know from the empirical evidence, and that's what was used to try and narrow down that search area 10 years ago. Now, until that changes, till either new evidence comes to light or that there are others that continue on in that search, and I know there's talks with Ocean Infinity, that was one of the groups that did an independent search after the ATSB search, that potentially can expand on the areas that were searched 10 years ago, or that were searched, in sort of 7-8 years ago, then, we are where we are at the moment, and unfortunately it still remains unsolved today.